This is the color, if I can speak. So I did a little bit of touching for corners that are actually going to have to be touching brick. Did the same thing on this side, so that when I start doing brick, I won't have to worry about coming in and cutting for the brick getting into the wall. Because the last thing I want to do is have the brick and mortar and then try and paint, because the paint will get on the mortar and or the bricks and it'll look shitty. And there's the floor, or at least the sample. So a couple of bricks just stacked there to give you an idea of brick against paint with floor. So that's the look I'm going after. That's what a box looks like, and that's what I have left over from one box after doing 3 rows. So 3 rows of bricks. There's my janky spacing system, because I wanted to start up top so I would have an even mortar line hitting the ceiling. The bricks, of course, are not symmetrically rectangular, so roughly 2.5 by 8, but as you can see, they have lots of characteristic, so they're not fully 2.5 by 8. So my spacer of 3/8 of an inch is what I would call rough spacing, but it is better than nothing. And I'm screwing as I go along to anchor that in while the nail, what is it called, liquid nails, while that dries. They set pretty quick, so what I'll do is I'll take that top row of spacer, and then I'll lower that down here and start a new row and work my way over. In hindsight, I should have cut a few more spacers. Weather has gotten bad again, so I won't be doing that, and I'll just work around it. So, you know, when I look at the size of the wall at 98 feet 96 inches minus the baseboard, I'm gonna need approximately 94 inches of coverage, give or take an inch. Well, not take, give, so 94 plus inches. I can get, this is 8 3/4 worth of brick on one box. So my computation is a little over 10 boxes to do 30 rows. So I should hopefully have some leftovers, but I will save all the cuts on the ends for last and do that on a single day, one at a time. So that's where things stand for right now. Making good progress. All currently stands, it's about, I would say, just under 30% complete. That's about 3 boxes worth of brick. Let it dry an extra night so I could pull off all of these spacing strips to get a good idea of what my spacing looks like. The blue tape is a redo, and I'm looking at a few bricks that have been redone, you know, deciding whether, like, this one's sticking out a little much because it was a re-glue, so I might yank that off and just peel off the back. Also deciding on, you know, bricks like this. Do I keep this because of the amount of mortar that's going to show, which adds to the rustic look, but at the same time I don't know if I want it? Or do I yank this brick off and put like another brick like this, and then take that brick and just cut it for the corner? So honestly don't know. Happy with measurements. So when I put my level up, where's my bubble? I'm pretty good on my bubble all the way across on bricks. And again, when you look at the variances of the bricks against the strips, because each brick is not exactly the same size. So you've got some bricks bigger, some that are smaller. You know, you got a brick like this that's extremely full, and then one like this that's a little shorter, or something like this that's also a little bit shorter, but I think it looks pretty good. I'm happy with the degree of spacing / uniformity. Doesn't look like there's anything drastically missing or off, missing being just a weirdness. But again, not sure what I want to do with biggies like this. Part of me wants to keep it because of the character, again, something like that. Another part of me doesn't, so that's maybe the OCD side. But come along pretty good. So obviously more to come. Bit of during. So I usually do it in groups of like maybe 4 bricks. As you can see, I've started this next row. And what I generally try and do is pick some bricks that look like they would go good together, or at least wouldn't be bad together. And I try and keep the lines somewhat straight, being cognizant of the fact that not all the bricks are going to match. It's not going to be perfect. And so you notice the difference. So these spaces are exactly the same, but you'll notice, like on the bricks right down here, a little bit of chipping, and the fact that this one is a little bit off. So what I have been doing in the past is I take one of the cardboard inserts and maybe give it a little tiny lift so that the spacing isn't so bad, or rather the mortar will look maybe a little more distributed. Again, roughly 3 dollops. And depending on, chips like that, I'm probably not going to mate it to that. So I'll do something like this. And notice how nicely that fits. So again, the variances or discrepancies between bricks. And it's a little hard to do this one-handed while I'm filming. But there's 4 bricks, and again, but in general, the guidelines are working well. And I'm constantly measuring these with the bubble to make sure they're level, so that when I step back, everything will look reasonably level. Again, save for the differences in the bricks themselves. So that's kind of a during process.